Okay, what we have learned, we're going to put to practical now. This is where a lot of challenge comes in maths, as it's algebra a lot. So we have to multiply polynomials to solve equations. To solve an equation involving products of polynomials, we can do the multiplication on each side and proceed as how it may seem necessary. For example, if I have the problem given to you, solve, I want you to find a solution for that particular problem, which means what satisfies that problem for it to be true. So we have x plus 5 open close bracket, x minus 4 close bracket equals x times x plus 3. So here we have polynomials, binomials, and all kind of polynomials there being thing. So our strategy here is to multiply the binomials on the left side. So multiply the binomials here on the left hand side, keep that on the left side of the equation because we have them separated by an equal sign, and use the distributive property on the right side also. And then why? Because the first step in solving equation is to remove parentheses, so we need to remove parentheses here. So let's proceed. So we say put x times x. So let me just explain it out step by step. X times x minus 4 plus 5 x minus 4, and then we multiply each term there, gives me x times 3. Likewise here, x times x plus x times negative 4 plus next one 5 times x plus 5 times negative 4 equals x squared plus 3x. Here we end up with x squared negative 4x plus 5x negative 20 equals x squared plus 3x. Remember, we have done multiplication of binomials, so this is what we are doing here, multiplying two binomials. All right, so now since we are reached that point, we will subtract x squared from both sides because we want to move them to both sides. Usually they would tell you when you move a value from one side to the next, you just change its sign. Well, if you were on a seesaw and it's an equal sign, a seesaw, if you remove 5 pounds from one side, it doesn't remain balanced if you subtract it from if you move it to the other side. It simply means that what you remove on one side, you must remove on the other side. If you add it on one side, you must add it on the other side. So, step here, subtract x squared from both sides. Okay, so now subtract that. So we end up now x squared minus x squared, negative 4x plus 5x will give me plus x minus 20 equals this x squared minus x squared plus 3x. They'll go away, leaving me with x minus 20 equals 3x. Okay, so we end up with that now. Because we are left with that, usually we would bring this term to the left hand side, variables on left hand side and values to the right hand side. My advice is this: to minimize the transferring of information from one side to the next side, if the bigger variable here has a bigger, if the variable on the right hand side has a bigger coefficient than the variable on the left hand side, move the variables to your right hand side. Okay, if the variable here had a bigger coefficient, then you move them to your left hand side. It makes it easier also. So subtract now, subtract x to both sides. That gives me x minus x minus 20 equals 3x minus x. This cancel out, negative 20 equals 2x. Okay, then we will divide both sides by the 2. So divide both sides by coefficient is the key word. I'm not going to use the word or the number 2 because I don't want you to stay and feel that the number 2 is by what you will divide every time. So you divide by the coefficient. So if this coefficient was a negative value, you will divide both sides by a negative value. So this gives me now 2x over 2 negative 20 over 2. This gives me x equals negative 10, and that's our solution to our problem. Okay, negative 10. And we could check to see if this is true. Okay, if that this makes the statement true that when x equals negative 10, both sides of the equations are equal to each other. Okay, so let's prove it. I have x plus 5, x minus 4 equals x plus 3 when x equals negative 10. This is to check how correct you are. All right, so I'm going to put negative 10 wherever an x is. Negative 10, negative 10, negative 10, negative 10. I just put it there because I know I could estimate the distance, and negative 4 and plus 5. Notice where the x's are, I put a negative 10 because that's what the value according to this problem solution. So negative 10 plus 5 will give me negative 5. Negative 10 minus 4, negative 14. Negative 10, still there. Negative 10 plus 3, negative 7. Negative 10 times negative 14, well, we get 25, 7, that's positive 70, equals negative 10 times negative 7, positive 70. So our answer is correct. So that's how you can find out if your answer is correct in such problems. Okay, this is a multiplication to multiply polynomials to solve equations. You use